His natural beauty.
What? Natural?
Just shut up, we started recording correctly when I said that.
Yes.
Okay, what is our topic? What are we talking
Riskiest recording to be on with Sarkys.
I swear, bro.
Why, dude? You
I'm
want me to
not
get
gonna-
Sunil Punjabi? You saw the one with Sunil. I was so serious.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, but on a serious note, what is our topic?
Oh, Vijay being all professional with his black cup. We're going to be discussing life at a startup. I think
For
all of
sure.
you worked, and we'll flow into that about your life and why did you all of you. The common point is all of you worked at startups and then moved on to joining a course in Canada, specifically Canada, because all of you are there. And why did you choose that? And how did the experience at a startup help you uh, choose? Like, don't tell that because everyone from the company was going, you guys also decided to go.
What? Please. I don't think.
Okay, so
Nitin
basically
should
not the
definitely
truth.
not say that because this is
Basically
going.
not the truth then.
So yeah, we can start off. Yeah, so tell us one by one if you can. Whoever wants to go first on what your
I think
experience was.
All right. So
Why
I
did you
mean,
join? The
for
question
me,
is why did you join a startup?
so to be honest, like, I've always wanted to join a startup. Like, even when I was working in Amazon, I wouldn't call Amazon a startup per se, but when I was transitioning, to be very, very honest, Amazon was also paying me shit. So I believed at that point of time,
Jeff
startups were
Bezos
also
might watch this, bro. Anyway.
that's cool. It's about time he pays me then. But anyway, on a serious note, the money was a factor because even though I was working for like a big organization, it wasn't really
Paying you enough.
giving me that satisfaction. So money would be one aspect of it, but the other thing is that in a structured setup like Amazon, it's always like hierarchy based, right? So you have this manager and then you know the senior manager and so on. But in a startup, when I like moved in first, I think the difference was that I mean, even though it did have a hierarchy, it wasn't really a hierarchy, and
Yeah, very
you
flat.
can attest to that. Yeah, it's a very flat system. So I think that was something that really appealed to me, and that's how it transitioned into me coming to Canada. I don't think there was a relevance to it, but yeah, I've always wanted to do my MBA, so Canada was my first choice.
Okay. Reminds me, but you left when there was a new hierarchy in the system also, no?
I mean, and
Yes.
and
Ouch.
and 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 like I mentioned in the previous point that I didn't like the hierarchy system, that's why I left. And when
Oh,
it
okay.
moved from a flat hierarchy,
To another hierarchy. That's why you
it didn't
decided
make
to
sense.
go.
You got my point.
Okay, not revealing more details, but moving on to Vishal.
for
Why
me,
did you choose joining a startup? Like he chose because it probably paid him better. The early salaries in the startup is for a fresher is way better.
semester, I heard about Zomato having off-campus hiring, and I went for the sales interview. I didn't even know what sales was at the time,
Mm.
but luckily I got through, and that's how I ended up at Zomato.
And
But
I remember the day how much you ate my head.
dude, I waited for 4 hours for an interview.
He gave an interview and he followed up for like 3 days. He's like, bro, have I got the job?
But yeah, I'm damn happy that that happened because in a big company, no chance I would have even got an interview. And even after Zomato also, the whole ferry situation happened only because, like, Saki, you know the story clearly. It was just a good opportunity that came forward where I was able to work with a bunch of people on an idea which seemed very interesting, and
Mm,
that's how even that happened. But that was a much bigger risk compared to Zomato. I feel like Zomato was much more
safer bet.
stable. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. What about you, Tanvi?
So for me, the thing was when I started off with EY, it was just because I gotten to and I wanted to put it in my resume and whatever it looked fancy and stuff. So I like
That
Nitin
means being
said, the
fancy.
pay
Okay,
was
even a
shit.
resume has to be fancy. Okay. Mm.
Just shut up. You know what I mean.
Uh,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fancy and all that. Like, it was nice to put it on my resume. So yeah, I said let's go for it. But the my experience over there wasn't great, and the pay wasn't great at all. I mean, wasn't even close to being great. But I wasn't being too picky at that time because I just started off with my career, so I couldn't really expect too much. So I went with the flow. But eventually, to be honest, I got introduced to Zomato only because of Sanjana, and because so she referred me there, and I
Sanjana
wasn't. The
Prasad.
thing is, Sanjana Prasad. Yeah.
Sanjana and you
So
were schoolmates.
yeah, we were schoolmates, we were college mates. So yeah, so I just heard that she's working at Zomato, and I got like really good feedback from her. And the thing is, I'd heard a lot about Zomato from other people also, about the work culture, that it's all like super chill, and of course the pay is good. So I said, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. So for me, the intent was never that I want to work for a startup, but the fact that I got the
Eventually happened.
opportunity, yeah, it just happened. There was no motive to do so, but I'm glad that it happened, because initially when I joined Zomato, the work culture itself was like completely different. Like, I was literally in culture shock. It took me like a long time to get accustomed to that culture. And of course, with you being around, it wasn't easy at all. At every
Yeah, I
fucking
agree.
step.
I
and
agree.
yeah.
I was a
So,
very professional guy anyway, so
oh
Oh yes, yes.
sure.
I actually, now that you mention it, right, Tani, I actually have a story like when I first joined the company, right? I think they were doing O2 sales at that point of time. And I'm pretty new. I'm seeing everyone's face for the first time. I mean, I knew a few people, but there were a lot of people I didn't know.
yeah, one working at a startup is all of them seem to be friends. Like the hiring also was very reference based, right? So all of you knew, at least people of the same age group knew the other
Startup
people.
that
Like
we
I
were
didn't know
working for
most of them.
together, right?
Hmm.
So the first day, I'm obviously new and I'm kind of getting used to everyone around me
Yeah,
and
you
the
joined during
environment and
that whole
everything.
mad hassle of us hiring a lot of people for a
Yeah,
yeah,
O2.
exactly. For
During
O2,
O2.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
So
incentive period.
So yeah, anyway, so I was hired for whatever ad sales, but then they were, I think, pushing auto at that point of time. So I was like, okay, so I'm just trying to, there's this whole blitz going on. There's madness in the office. Everyone's running, throwing papers around, one guy screaming at another person.
Yeah, I'm like,
But getting into the story more,
yeah.
that person who was screaming was Sarky, by the way.
Oh, it was me.
And
Okay.
you also.
Uh,
So you were like sitting on this chair and like with your arms on the table, like one proper, what do you say, like one
Goon.
gunda, like
Yeah,
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 goon type, okay?
yeah.
So
Oh,
and
I
then like
remember this incident. Okay.
you have all the rings and all that, right? So
Uh,
Oh
I only
yeah.
won,
like
bro.
this is at that point, bro. I remember that you
Yeah.
had like a few rings.
Oh, really?
So I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I was like, fuck this guy. I mean, this is damn scary. So, so
Intimidating
I was,
personality.
yeah, intimidating personality for sure. And then once I got to know him, right, and like I can still say, I think we're one of the best. I mean, we
Yeah.
off. I think we've become like quite good friends, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we've maintained that also.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that. I mean that was my initial experience, though. No lying.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think actually, I'd like to add, the reason why I stuck around with Zomato for a while was because of the work culture and the company. Because I think that if there's one thing, apart from the other things, of course, but there's one thing that I've taken from Zomato is friends that we made over there. Because I don't think I'm in touch with any of the people I worked with in EY or wherever I interned at. So yeah, I think that's one thing that um, I took from Zomato.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what about you, Vishal? What were your first thoughts when you joined the startup? I remember you came all the way from Vellore on a bike for an interview, and you came
Yeah,
back
yeah.
twice because we
Good
brought you
time.
back
Good
second
time.
time also. We
Yes,
said we
yes.
didn't interview. We are still doubtful about hiring you. You seem like that
Right.
tense Mallu boy.
I
So
don't, I don't, I don't think
And
it
I
was
was being
receiving it.
nice to
Those
you, fucker, when you were sitting and waiting for
those
your interview. He had
Language,
I
those
was
language.
being I was being nice to him, and Arman's like, oh, who's this chick walking around with so much
we
attitude?
didn't
Oh,
think
I
chick
thought you
and
know
all.
you had a lot of
Don't add the
I
attitude.
chick
didn't
word
say,
to on your own.
yeah, I didn't say anything.
Basically, he thought I had attitude.
I didn't say
I
anything to
don't
that. I thought
disagree
you were
with you.
damn, I thought you were very polite. I thought you were a nice person.
Oh, oh yeah.
But I was wrong.
Oh.
No, but I was actually very excited because uh, back
That was
then
the only company that gave you a job.
exactly that. And also Zomato was quite well known, I feel, at that time. Like
Yeah.
people knew that what the brand was, so getting to be a part of that was a big deal. And even when I came for the interview, everybody in office was extremely friendly. I still remember Tarun saw me sitting for the interview, and he asked me if I want food from Wangs and stuff, and he ordered for me, and he made sure that I got food and stuff while I was waiting for interview.
So you
I've
guys,
never
you guys knew each
heard
other
of.
before?
No, I have no idea who he is. Only thing I
But
knew
Mal
that
Connect.
he
Mallu
was a
connected
Mallu.
to us.
He also know I was Mallu. I think Mallu
It's
connected
And
my
me.
then
brother.
Mallu got you some
Brother.
Manx kitchen, huh?
And then, yeah, Wangs Kitchen. I still remember. And like everyone was extremely friendly. I understood that my wavelength kind of matched with everyone there. So I was that because of that, I was really looking forward to working there.
You're not
That
looking
was
forward, you're really
okay.
chasing people to get you inside.
Desperate times, bro. You gotta do what you gotta do. And you gave me your number, by the way. I didn't ask. You said
But
take my
I
number. You
was
called
not
me
taking
anything.
interviews that time, was I?
My God. You took my first round. When I
But
came, I don't know.
people at Zomato thought I'd quit in like what in a
Oh
week
yeah, they actually,
because they
yeah.
thought I was like a hoity-toity and I won't walk around in the sun and do sales and all that.
But you never still walked
Well,
around in
yeah,
the hot
that's
sun
what I
and
was
did
thinking.
sales
Of
anyway.
course I did. Of
So
course
that
I
never
did.
happened.
Please.
So,
Actually, yeah, actually, the what Radha Regent, the sun was really
Radha Regent and Savera, bro, they never
severe.
had any.
The sun was never down over there. The sun
Yeah,
was always up.
the sun never rose in those properties, bro. Tanvi used to select strategically where the sunrise is not very bad. So she used to go to those properties only. Take her, she'll take her.
At least I used to stay at work all day, not like other people who used to quit after lunch and just like not come back.
I have
I,
no
I,
idea.
yeah,
I've
I'm
had
not
we
pointing
had their houses
fingers.
very close to the office also. And
Yeah, of
you
course.
know, you know what? Nitin became very. So me and Nitin, we used to go for a lot of meetings, and then one day, Monish, who was our city head back then, suddenly decided to move his house. And guess where does he move? He moved right opposite Nitin's house.
Nitin's house.
and, and
No
Nitin is
more.
like, bro, how do we do this now? I have to park my car after lunch when I go home.
But the funny part of the story is that I saw his car home before I went home.
Yeah, like I think even in Dubai, where you have lived already, the Ubers are all these
Yeah.
fancy cars, right? So
Yeah, I haven't seen it. This is the first time. So I was a bit like,
yeah, so I'll tell you one funny incident about Uber. So I was there in the UK, and once me and my friend were traveling in the Uber, and we were talking in Tamil and making a lot of fun about the whole Uber driver. And we were like going to a club to drink, and on the way back on and we were like already drunk at home, and we were like getting dropped at a club. And then at the end of the ride, so we were talking in Tamil because obviously assuming that
So that he can't understand.
yeah, exactly. So, and then at the end of it, he turns and says, "எனக்கு தமிழ் நல்லா தெரியும், நான் ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருந்து." I'm like, oh god,
Oh
I
my
felt so
oh
embarrassed.
my
god!
God.
Oh my
It was so
god,
embarrassing. I was
Sarky!
Oh
like, oh
my
god,
God.
knowing a
Oh
language
my
is not helping.
And he didn't even stop you in between. Like he
He
told
did.
you at the end of it so he could hear you out. Like, let
I
me
was
see
like
how
super
bad it can
embarrassed.
get.
I was like super embarrassed. Anyway, I'll just move on to the next bit of the question. I think half of the question is, yeah, so you guys had your reason for joining the startup, but what made you stick around? Like, I think Tanvi kind of answered that as well, slightly for her reason of having good company and the work culture, but also probably getting more into details about it. What made you guys stick around? Because all of you completed quite a long tenure and go for so long.
Okay, now apart from the fact that I said, the people and the work culture and all that, of course, that was amazing because also our motto was work hard, party harder. So that was something that
Yeah.
And we made
that is
sure to
something
follow.
Yeah, that
of course.
changed after she joined only. She used to pull everyone around. "Ah, you're coming, you're coming, you're coming."
Of course, Plan B used to be filled with Zomato crowd.
Yeah, buy one get
So
one. No, that's why you're the cheapskates. So that was the only place that gave us buy one get one. So we used to be there.
yeah, so yeah. Apart from that, also the fact that the incentives. I wouldn't like to discount the company from the fact that they gave us amazing incentives, and like for certain teams, like for example my team, because I was a part of.
Sorry to interrupt. Look at Vishal's face when you're saying incentive.
Just lit up.
I don't remember
Oh God,
that.
incentives. I remember the time when Vishal was in my team, okay, and there was the incentive discussion. Bro. He used to come up and eat my head.
Why do you think I mentioned this?
You were also in my team only that time, no?
Yeah,
You remember that?
Yeah,
Oh,
we were the
God.
same. Keep 1 lakh. Keep 1 lakh.
1 lakh, and he'll be like, "Macha, I'm not getting enough now. How does this grid move now? How does this thing work?" I'm like, "Bro, chill." Yeah, the incentives. Yeah, that was some amazing incentives that were rolled out.
That
But I never
was.
made any. But yeah, you guys made a
Oh,
lot.
please, let's
Oh,
not
please.
get there, Saki.
Don't-
Please, we
don't-
all know
Don't
that
even
this is
start,
some
bro.
shit.
Don't even start.
I've seen payslips
There you go.
and they don't lie.
Yeah, so the money was good. So one reason why we stuck around was company, the money, and obviously the parties that we all have. Also, I think the parties are also to do with the company that we had, right? All of us kind of bonded well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one.
Yeah.
Other reasons? Any other reasons that you guys thought was?
Dude, for me personally, I apart from whatever mentioned by Tanvi, I feel like I stuck around because it was a very good opportunity where you could interact with business owners directly. Like a lot of roles in other companies where my friends were working
Writings
at
and
the time,
everything else.
but they still knew business, and you could learn a lot from them. I did, at least, just understanding the market, listening to what they're listening to from other people, and so it gave me like
That's how you build your
insight.
network as well, right?
Exactly. A lot of us, actually, a lot of people from Zomato, we've seen in the past who, after Zomato, have been in the industry and done other things, leveraging on those contacts, right? So I think interacting with people in the industry who have businesses, I learned a lot from that interaction. And also, it was my first role, it was my first job, and it was in sales. So I learned how to sell because of my leaders who were there at the company.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that those were the reasons why I stuck around. Actually, I was learning a lot, and I was always progressing in some way or the other. So I was happy about that.
Nitin, you have anything to add on?
I mean, you guys have covered most of it, but like for me personally, I think one thing which is different, I think what you guys haven't mentioned is that it was always challenging, or it was not a monotonous job. So for me, that's very important. Like if I'm doing something and I'm getting sick of it or getting bored of it, that's something that I would not that's a job that I would not stick on for a long period of time. So that's one of the primary reasons I left Amazon as well. One of the other reasons which I left Amazon as well. But it was also challenging because you had certain targets, and I mean, for me personally, I never used to take it like that. I used to have fun while doing it, but
I don't think anyone in my team ever took the targets too seriously.
yeah, exactly, right?
So it was
I
quite.
think it trickled down from the leader.
It was like a
But
piece of cake targets. Also because the others were not doing so well, so we looked like we were doing too good. So
yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But yeah, that's a little bit, I think, different for me in terms of how I look at it.
complex, I would say. It's more about wanting to prove something to yourself and everyone around than going behind the target. So that was always the fun part, right? It was always about proving to yourself and your team and your other teams that you were better than the rest, right? I think that was self developed within ourselves. Like, thank you very much for joining. I will edit and post this out if I can edit this. But till then, all of you, I know all of you have subscribed. If you haven't, I'll come and check your YouTube account.
We have.
But yeah,
First day,
the rest
first
of them
video.
watching, please subscribe. And also,
Smash
Tanvi,
the
you have a
bell
record. You're
icon
the
as well.
first female who's appeared on my vlog. Wow.
Wow.
New
I'm
audience.
privileged.
Yeah, I'm now getting
privileged.
some male audience onto my it's only males, by the way. I was checking some stats. Okay, it's 86% males and 20% female. That's, I think, Tanvi, Preeti, and a few others who I've sent the link to. Otherwise, no one seems to be interested in watching the vlog. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
Having
thanks,
us.
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You forced
Yeah,
me,
bro, thanks for having us.
Vishal, but yeah, that's fine. I'll act. But yeah, all of you go like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Smash the
Yes.
bell icon.
Hit the bell icon. I'll put it near Vishal's finger.
good luck.